The morning sun slid across the glass tower of Westline Innovations as people rushed inside carrying coffee files and silent stress, and right at the front desk sat Gloria, the senior receptionist who had worked in this building longer than half the people working in the higher floors had even finished school. Her calm smile was the kind that made visitors relax the moment they entered, and her voice carried a warmth that felt like home in a cold corporate world, and everyone knew one thing: if you needed real guidance in this company, you went to her. But today the energy inside the lobby shifted the moment the elevator doors opened and out stepped the new boss wife, Briella. She was young, stylish, and walked with the air of someone who believed money and looks were the same as power, and she loved making sure everyone knew exactly who she was. Her heels clicked like tiny hammers across the marble floor as she moved, and she barely glanced at anyone, not even the employees who looked up nervously. Then her eyes landed on Gloria. She paused, tilted her head, and gave a slow smirk, the kind of smirk that was meant to make the other person feel smaller. "So you're the front desk lady," she said in a tone dripping with superiority. Gloria simply nodded with her gentle, steady expression. "Yes, ma'am, welcome." Briella scanned the desk, glanced at the old-style landline phone, the neatly stacked folders, the handwritten notes, and shook her head with dramatic disappointment. "This setup looks ancient," she said. "I thought this company was modern, but clearly not everyone wants to move forward. Maybe some people get too comfortable in one spot." Several employees nearby froze, some even looked away, because everyone knew Briella did not hold back, and she loved showing off her power as the boss's young wife. But Gloria sat straight, her eyes calm, her voice soft. "I do my work with care, ma'am, and everything you see here has a purpose." Briella gave a light laugh, the kind meant to sting. "Oh, sweetheart, purpose is not the same as progress. You should learn the difference. Maybe you're staying in this position because you cannot handle anything more." A hush fell across the lobby, and someone near the door whispered under their breath, "Oh no, she messed with the wrong auntie." Because while Briella thought she was mocking a harmless older woman, she did not know a truth that could shake the entire company in one afternoon, a truth Gloria had carried quietly for years, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right reason. And Briella had just given her the reason. Before Gloria could speak, the office manager hurried over, looking pale. "Ma'am, the board meeting is starting, and everyone is waiting." Briella tossed her hair, smiled proudly, and said, "Good, they can wait for me. Power enters last." She began walking away, and that is when Gloria finally spoke, her voice still calm yet carrying a weight that made everyone look up. "Ma'am, before you go, there is something you should know." Briella turned, annoyed. What could a front desk woman possibly have to tell me? Gloria stood slowly, her eyes steady, her presence suddenly filling the entire lobby in a way nobody expected. "Your name might open the elevator," Gloria said, "but mine opens the boardroom." Briella blinked, confused. "What are you talking about?" Gloria walked around the desk gracefully, almost regally, and the entire lobby seemed to hold its breath. "You see, ma'am," Gloria said, "I am not just the receptionist here." And the truth that would flip the entire company energy in one afternoon was about to be spoken. The lobby grew so quiet that even the distant hum of the elevator sounded loud as Briella stared at Gloria with irritation, mixed with a hint of confusion. She was not used to anyone speaking with confidence around her, especially not someone she believed was beneath her. Gloria folded her hands gently in front of her and said in a calm, steady voice, "I am the co-founder of Westline Innovations, ma'am. I helped build this company brick by brick, year by year, long before you or even your husband ever walked through these doors." The shock that rippled across the lobby felt like a silent wave. Employees froze mid-step. A visitor dropped his pen. The office manager almost gasped out loud, and Briella just stood there, her mouth slightly open, as if her brain was refusing to accept the information. Gloria continued, still calm, still graceful. "I stepped down from the board years ago after my health gave me a hard time, and I chose to work here at the front desk because this place is my home, and these people are my responsibility. I see everything that happens, and I protect the roots of this company quietly and with dignity." Briella blinked and finally managed to speak in a shaky voice, "That cannot be true. If you were the co-founder, why would you sit there like some ordinary receptionist?" Gloria gave a soft, gentle smile. "Because, ma'am, leadership is not about where you sit, it is about what you understand, and what you take care of. Power is not in titles, it is in actions and respect." Briella felt heat rising in her cheeks, anger, embarrassment, disbelief, all mixing together. She clenched her jaw and said, "You are just trying to scare me. You think I will believe you just like that?" Before Gloria could answer, the glass doors of the inner hallway opened and a tall man in a gray suit, the CFO, stepped out, his expression serious. "Ms. Briella Sears, we have been looking for you," he said, and Gloria is correct. She is the co-founder and majority legacy shareholder of this company. Her files, signatures, and contributions are in every chapter of our corporate history. A murmur spread across the lobby like wind through leaves. Briella staggered a step back, her confidence cracking. "What do you mean, majority shareholder?" The CFO clasped his hands in simple words. "Ma'am, her approval matters more than any of ours in every major decision, including board expansions, leadership shifts, and even new policies." Briella's face turned pale. The arrogance she carried so proudly began slipping as the reality finally hit her. She had mocked the very woman who held more real power in the company than her husband ever did. Gloria walked closer, her step slow and steady. "I do not like humiliating anyone, ma'am, but when someone threatens the environment of respect in this building, I step in, because this company was built on dignity, not on ego." The office staff watched with wide eyes. Some looked relieved. Some looked impressed. Some almost smiled proudly. Briella swallowed her anger, her voice trembling. "I did not know. I did not mean to disrespect you." Gloria's tone remained gentle. "I understand, but ignorance does not excuse behavior and arrogance does not create leadership." Briella looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. She clutched her designer handbag tighter, trying to regain even a little bit of her confidence. Gloria turned to the office manager. "Please escort Mrs. Sears to the boardroom. They have waited long enough." The office manager nodded. "Yes, ma'am, right away." As Briella walked past Gloria, her steps were slower, her shoulders tense, and for the first time since entering the building, not a single trace of superiority showed in her eyes. Because she now knew one truth, one powerful truth. She had tried to belittle the wrong auntie. And Gloria was not done yet. The boardroom on the top floor was usually a place of sharp voices, fast decisions, and polished egos, but that afternoon the entire atmosphere felt heavy because the members inside had already heard whispers from the lobby, and everyone knew something dramatic had occurred. When Briella entered the room, her confidence was dimmer than the soft lights above the long wooden table. She tried to lift her chin, but the embarrassment clung to her like a shadow. Her husband, Ethan, the CEO, looked up confused. "Sweetheart, why are you late, and why do you look shaken?" Before Briella could answer, the door opened again and silence swept across the room because Gloria stepped inside. No receptionist badge. No files. No front desk energy. She walked with the quiet authority of someone who had shaped these walls with her own hands, and every senior board member immediately stood up out of respect. Gloria nodded politely. "Thank you, everyone. I came to address something important." Briella stiffened uneasily as she lowered herself into a seat, but her eyes stayed glued to the table. Gloria looked around the room, her voice steady, warm, yet strongly rooted. "Today, I was reminded why I stepped back from the board. My goal was to let the next generation lead, but leadership is not just about youth or speed, it is about character." Ethan cleared his throat. "Aunt Gloria, what happened?" Gloria turned toward him gently. "Your wife came to the office today with the assumption that age equals weakness and position equals worth. She believed mocking staff creates authority and insulting people creates power." A few board members exchanged uncomfortable glances because they all knew it was true. Briella finally spoke, her voice thin, soft. "I did not know. I did not realize who she was." Gloria shifted her gaze toward her. "Not knowing who someone is does not give us permission to disrespect them, ma'am. The janitor deserves respect as much as the CEO. The human value stays the same no matter the title." Her words landed like quiet truth across the polished table. Ethan looked shocked. "Briella, you said something like that?" She hesitated, her voice shaking. "I thought she was just the receptionist. I was frustrated. I was trying to make a point." Gloria raised her hand gently. "It is all right to make a point, but not by breaking someone else's dignity. I built this company on discipline, honesty, and compassion, and I will never allow anyone to shake these foundations, especially not from the inside." Briella shrank deeper into her chair, her voice very small. "I am sorry, ma'am. I did not mean to hurt you. I was careless." Gloria nodded. "Accepting wrong is the first step. Changing behavior is the second. I need to know which path you are choosing." The room remained silent. All eyes on Briella. all pressure on her next words. She took a trembling breath and said, "I will change, I will learn, and I will respect everyone, I promise." Gloria studied her for a moment, then gave a slow nod. Good, because if you want to stand beside Ethan in this company, you must embody the values we hold, not the ego others fear. The board members nodded in agreement. Ethan reached for Briella's hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. And slowly the tension in the room softened. But Gloria was not finished. She turned to the board members. "I will be taking an advisory seat again, effective immediately, only to ensure the workplace culture remains safe for everyone." The CFO responded immediately, "Yes, ma'am, the paperwork is ready. We have always kept the door open for you." A quiet smile appeared on many faces because they all knew something. When Gloria steps back into power, balance returns. As the meeting ended and everyone rose from their chairs, Briella approached Gloria slowly, almost nervously. "Ma'am, I know my behavior was wrong," she whispered. "I will do better. I just hope you can guide me." Gloria placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Real strength begins when pride ends, ma'am. Today is your starting point. Use it well." With those words, she walked out, leaving the room filled with a strange mix of relief and respect. But down in the lobby, a storm was quietly waiting. Because news spreads fast, whispers travel quicker, and the staff downstairs had their own opinions forming, and the real flip in company energy was about to unfold in front of everyone. Back in the lobby, the office staff had gathered in small clusters, whispering rapidly, eyes wide, with a mix of shock, excitement, and disbelief. Everyone from the junior assistants to the marketing interns had watched the entire interaction, and they could feel the power shift like a sudden gust of wind. Even the delivery guy paused with his package in hand just to look at Gloria as she walked past the reception desk with calm confidence. Gloria returned to her usual spot, but the aura around her had changed. She was no longer just a receptionist. She was the heartbeat of the company, the quiet force that everyone knew could change the course of the day with just one word. Briella lingered near the entrance, her designer heels barely making a sound. Her head bowed slightly as she watched Gloria. Her mind racing through every humiliation she had caused, every condescending word she had spoken. One of the junior assistants finally whispered courageously, "Did you hear she is the co-founder?" Everyone nodded. Even some of the senior employees muttered in disbelief. "We knew she was powerful, but this is something else." Gloria noticed Briella standing awkwardly. She walked toward her slowly with a gentle smile. "Ma'am," Gloria said calmly, "would you like a tour of how things actually run here today?" Briella swallowed her pride. "I think I do." Gloria nodded. Good learning never stops, and real leadership comes from understanding, not from showing off. They walked past the copy machines, the mailroom, the HR office, and the conference rooms. Gloria explained with a soft, authoritative tone who handled what and why every department mattered, every decision had a ripple effect, and how she had spent years mentoring people quietly without anyone knowing. Briella listened. She realized the complexity she had never imagined. Her arrogance slowly crumbled as Gloria spoke with quiet wisdom and undeniable authority. By the time they returned to the front desk, Briella was changed. Not fully, but enough to understand that true power does not come from fashion or wealth. It comes from experience, patience, and the courage to act with integrity. Gloria handed Briella a file. "This is a summary of ongoing projects," Gloria said. "Take time to read it, and if you have questions, I will answer them." Briella took the file carefully. "Thank you, ma'am," she said softly. "I will not make the same mistake again." The office staff watched in awe. Some whispered. Finally, someone humbled her. Others nodded silently, knowing this would change the energy in the office permanently. Gloria returned to her desk, picked up a phone, and answered a call with her usual calm professionalism. But there was an invisible weight in the air. A respect that had been earned. A power that had been felt by everyone. And upstairs in the boardroom, Ethan watched through the glass walls. Seeing his young wife learn humility from a woman he had always respected deeply. He realized that day the company was in safe hands, even if Gloria worked quietly at the front desk. Outside the elevator, the whispers continued. People were already talking about the new dynamic, about the flip in company energy, about how even the boss's wife had learned a lesson in respect. Gloria smiled to herself. She had done what she needed to do. Not for revenge. Not for pride. But for the culture she had nurtured for decades. And somewhere deep inside Briella, a seed of understanding had been planted. One that would grow slowly but surely, guided by the real Aunty of Westline Innovations. The next morning the office felt different. People moved with a lighter step. Smiles were easier to find. And even the interns who usually rushed past the front desk slowed down to greet Gloria as she sat calmly at her post. Briella arrived with a folder in her hands. She paused outside the glass doors, taking a deep breath. Today she decided she would approach her work differently. Today she would prove she had learned from the Aunty who had flipped the entire company energy. Gloria noticed her from across the lobby. She gave a small nod acknowledging Briella's effort without a word. The simple gesture carried weight. It told everyone watching that respect was earned and that a quiet smile could carry authority stronger than any title. Briella walked up slowly. "Good morning, ma'am," she said softly. Gloria returned the greeting. "Good morning, ma'am," Gloria said calmly. "I see you have reviewed the files." Briella nodded. "Yes, ma'am. I want to understand everything clearly before making any decisions or announcements." Gloria gestured toward a small seating area near the lobby. "Have a seat," she said. "We will go through your questions." For the next hour, Briella listened. She asked questions carefully. She took notes. And for the first time she realized, this was more than just a company. This was a living network of people and processes. Aunty had been guiding all of it quietly. Every department, every workflow, every decision carefully protected by her decades of experience. Meanwhile, the staff watched the interaction. They were fascinated. They had always respected Gloria. But seeing Briella approach her humbly, seeing the young boss wife learn and grow, it created a new energy, one of harmony and real leadership. By midday, the rumors had already spread. The flip in company dynamics was no longer confined to whispers. Even the marketing team upstairs began joking quietly about how Briella had become the student and Gloria the teacher, and how the receptionist had once again proven she was the true backbone of Westline Innovations. Ethan watched from his office quietly. Pride filled his chest. Not because Briella was learning, but because Gloria was still the guiding force. The Aunty who could command respect with just a calm voice and a measured step. Gloria stood up from the small meeting. "Thank you, ma'am," she said. "I will let you continue your work now. Remember, leadership is built through understanding and care, not through arrogance or mockery." Briella stood too. She folded the notes carefully. "I understand, ma'am," she said quietly. "And I will do better." Gloria gave a soft smile and returned to her desk, picking up the phone as though nothing had happened. Yet the energy of the office had shifted permanently. From that day on, employees moved with renewed respect. Briella approached tasks with humility, and the company ran smoother than ever because the real Aunty had once again reminded everyone who truly held the power. Outside in the elevator, the whispers continued. And somewhere in the parking lot, a visitor paused, looking up at the building, feeling a strange sense of awe, because in that tower, one Aunty could flip an entire corporate world, with nothing but truth, patience, and quiet authority. The afternoon sun poured through the glass walls of Westline Innovations, casting long shadows across the lobby. The office buzz was quieter than usual, but charged with a subtle excitement. People whispered softly as they walked past the front desk. They all knew something had changed. Something powerful had shifted in the energy of the company. Briella sat at her desk on the executive floor, reviewing emails carefully. Each message reminded her of the lesson she had learned. Each decision she made now carried a touch of respect she had never shown before. Her phone buzzed and she picked up. "Hello, ma'am," she said politely. Gloria's calm voice came through. "I hope you are remembering what we discussed." Briella nodded even though Gloria could not see her. "Yes, ma'am. I am." Downstairs at the lobby, Gloria observed quietly. The young employees now approached her without fear. The senior staff treated her with the same warmth as always. And even visitors who entered the building sensed a different energy. It was a mixture of authority, kindness, and unwavering respect. The kind that comes only with decades of dedication and quiet power. An assistant approached carefully. Ma'am, someone from HR wants to meet you about the new mentorship program. Gloria nodded. Send them in, she said gently. As the HR manager entered, she immediately felt the weight of Gloria's presence. Good afternoon, ma'am. Gloria smiled softly. Good afternoon, let's discuss how we can strengthen the culture here. Meanwhile, Briella paused in her office, looking down at the lobby through the glass wall. She saw Gloria speaking to employees with that effortless grace. She realized that everything she had assumed about leadership had been wrong. Titles, wealth, and confidence were nothing without understanding, respect, and integrity. Hours passed. Meetings took place. Emails were answered. And through it all, Gloria remained calm, observing, guiding, teaching, without raising her voice, without demanding attention, yet commanding it all the same. By the end of the day, Briella approached the lobby quietly. Ma'am, she said softly, I wanted to thank you for today, for showing me what real leadership is. Gloria looked up, her eyes gentle but firm. Leadership, she said, is not taught in boardrooms. It is learned in everyday actions, in how you treat people, in how you carry responsibility. Remember that, ma'am. Briella nodded. I will remember, ma'am. Thank you. As Briella walked away, the staff watched quietly. They knew the shift was permanent. The office was no longer about titles or power games. It was about respect, about culture, about the auntie who could flip an entire company with her calm authority. Gloria returned to her desk, picked up her phone to make a few final calls. The sun dipped lower in the sky, and the lobby glowed softly with the promise of a new era. An era where no one underestimated the power of experience, and no one forgot the auntie who had quietly built and protected it all. The whispers continued. The employees shared smiles, and Briella silently promised herself she would never mock another auntie again. Because some truths, some power, cannot be challenged, only respected. The next morning, the office felt alive in a new way. The energy was different. Employees greeted each other with more warmth. Meetings ran smoother. Decisions were considered more carefully. And through it all, Gloria remained the quiet center of it all. The auntie everyone respected without question. Briella arrived early that day, her heels soft against the marble floor. She carried a folder full of notes. She paused outside the front desk and looked at Gloria, her eyes filled with genuine respect. Ma'am, she said quietly, I reviewed the files. I planned my first initiative with a focus on employee respect and mentorship. I wanted you to know I am serious about change. Gloria looked up from her work, her expression calm but powerful. I see that, ma'am. Remember, ma'am, change is not a one-day action. It is a choice you make every day. And the impact of that choice is felt by everyone around you. Briella nodded. Yes, ma'am. I understand, ma'am. And I will continue learning. The office staff watched. Some whispered softly. Look at her, she actually listened. Some smiled proudly, knowing the auntie had flipped the power dynamic. Not by shouting or threats, but by showing strength quietly. Ethan came down from his office. He smiled at Briella and then at Gloria. He had always known Gloria was the backbone of the company, but seeing her handle this situation calmly, effectively, with dignity, made him feel proud and relieved all at once. Gloria returned her focus to the desk. A phone call here, a quick note there. She handled everything with grace and ease. The office moved around her, not because they feared her, but because they respected her. And that respect radiated outward, changing the energy of the entire company. By midday, Briella had approached a few employees, asked questions, listened carefully, acknowledged mistakes, and applied what she had learned from Gloria. Every step she took reminded her that leadership was earned. That authority was not given by wealth or title, but by patience, wisdom, and care. The day ended with a company-wide meeting. Gloria addressed the staff, her voice calm but firm. Today I saw respect restored. I saw lessons learned. And I saw a workplace that values every person here. Remember, this energy is fragile. Protect it, nurture it, and never forget the power of integrity. Employees applauded. Some even wiped tears quietly. Briella sat at her desk, listening, Learning. Understanding fully the lesson she had been given. Gloria returned to her desk, picked up her phone to make a few final calls. The sun set behind the glass towers, casting a warm glow across the lobby. And everyone knew, Westline Innovations was no longer just a company. It was a place where respect mattered, where culture was sacred, where the auntie who had quietly built and protected it all held a power that could never be challenged, only honored. And Briella silently promised herself she would carry that lesson for the rest of her career, because she had learned firsthand that mocking the wrong auntie was a mistake you never forget. The office was calm, the energy strong, and Gloria smiled, knowing the company was in good hands, because real power always shines quietly and lasts forever.